Okay. So this was round two, game two. So um, in Champ Select and everything, we were sort of laughing about this because it's basically like the same comps and we pick like most of the same champions. I think we had four of the same. They had three of the same or something. I don't exactly remember. But I remember kind of laughing about it and then, kind of pulling that back during the Champ Select process and saying, just because it seems like these are the same comps, they're going to play out a little bit differently. And that's still true. I still believe that. Um, so let's see how the open goes here. This time we have all five of our players at the start, which is nice. Um, Same type of thing. This is just a weird. This seems to be like a pretty standard opening by their team, choosing to take the three bottom, which is just I don't know. It's just strange. This time Ezreal is walking up instead of Caitlyn being back here, so now we have like a lot of vision of them. And I don't know if you chose to walk up because they did that last game or if it's because you're playing Kleptomancy Ezreal and you're just looking to hit Qs and get a lot of free gold. I did notice at the beginning of this game that you were getting a shitload of free gold. So here, a couple more gold procs. You don't necessarily need to back off just because you're hit by the E there. You can stay and get another couple procs. Because ultimately you can just sustain back up because like you already have 50 HP. So it's okay if you take like an auto attack or two by Varus. So again, I'll slow this down for a minute. So again, Sejuani, you want to be communicating what your initial path is going to be in the loading screen of the game or in the first 15 seconds of the game so that people know what to expect. I don't actually remember what path he took this game. But this just plays into wave management, all the things that I was talking about last video. Gonna try not to repeat myself too much. Can eat a few zillion bombs. This is okay. Pings are coming out on the Nunu. And first gank of the game occurs at the 230 mark, which we get out of pretty easily. Not that bad. Now, this game, they camped bot. Nunu camped bot really, really hard. And I'm not sure if that was because, like last game, like the Caitlyn got like hella fed or something, and they were just trying to counter that. I'm not sure if that's something that the coach said to them between games. So we can anticipate that teams might start camping bot later in the tournament, especially as Pass plays more solo queue games and his stats are increasing. Obviously, he's got a good win rate and he's playing all these types of champions. You can't really just ban him out. Most teams aren't going to take an unorthodox draft like I did this game and ban 4 or 5 ADCs. So they're just going to look to play around bot rather than just try to ban it out. Whereas I just tried to ban it out. So we can expect that a lot more attention can be given to bot lane as this tournament goes on. So what you need to be doing then as a bot lane is placing more deeper wards. Not like it's not the 3-minute mark and you're warding over here or something, but this river or this brush ward here needs to be extended into river a little bit. And then the jungler during the first clear, if this is what we anticipate to be the case, you can take red to raptors and then go drop like a ward in this or something, maybe even in this brush. This is like a little bit better of a ward, but it just depends on how much time you want to dedicate to it. So that you're actually assisting your bot lane with vision if you don't plan on being there early. But if we're expecting like enemy jungler to be there and you don't want to be there because you're trying to get your farm on the other side of the map, which by the way, I totally advocate, just go ahead and drop a ward there at the very least, help him out with that. Now Darius picks up the first blood. We'll see how this happens. Yep. Not respecting the pole under the tower. Yeah. Oh. Well, you didn't get the tower, but Ghost and Flash are both popped. You still have 3 stacks on you at this point. He still has Ghost. Yeah, you fucked up. Like, he still got Ghost. You should not be walking up in any type of sort of way. You shouldn't be charging that Q. You should be sitting the fuck back until Ghost expires. So that's a little bit unfortunate. The over-aggression there not working out. Sejuani, by the way, able to path into top red and then go ahead and take Krugs as well. Just as a by the way, whenever you are counter jungling, you have to think about the camps that you're going to prioritize. So you take red, and then we see Nunu like bottom, like take Raptors instead. I think Sejuani clears Raptors a little bit better than Krugs. I think Krugs are considered the most difficult camp in the game for most, if not all, junglers. So coming over and taking this means that you lose a little bit less HP, and then you kind of fuck Nunu because you have to think about what the enemy jungler wants to do. Now, Nunu has a little bit of splash damage like in the snowballs, and he's also going to be like a Cinder Hulk type of jungler, so he doesn't really like to clear Krugs either. So by you taking these Raptors, you take the camp that he really wants. This is also the camp that's most likely to be invaded by your mid lane. So if Anivia ever shoves out the lane against an Annie and she has some free time, nothing to do with it, she doesn't quite want to back, she can actually just come over here and clear Raptors hella easy. Like, that's something that Anivia can do. So you're trying to rubber band this camp essentially for your mid laner, if not yourself. Gank in the top lane. Not sure why you walked into the tower there, but okay. I saw that live too, and I was confused. All right. So this is an example of something that I said before. And I said something to the effect of sometimes it's okay to bait a death to recover some HP. This is one of those circumstances. You know, you're at half health. So Annie's going to go drop her load, procs electrocute. Okay, but from here, Annie can't follow up with this. She has no mana. So Tabor is going to smack you a couple times, so the tower's going to kill him. And you come back out with a little bit more health than you had. Now Annie has no mana. So Annie has no mana, Annie has no escape. Like, she has a flash, she has a cleanse. But it's very easy to burn these summoners out right now. So whenever Annie has no mana, when these low elo players sort of overextend their resource pool, you should be communicating that with the jungler. And jungler should be looking to pressure, if not to burn summoners, just to make her back off in the lane. Because you both are relatively low on mana. So the argument can be made that Annie has an advantage because Annie has a little bit more reliable of CC. And Nunu is less reliable on a skill shot for ganks. He can kind of just walk at you fast. And your passive is down. So you want to leave this lane. Annie also wants to leave this lane, but she doesn't want to give you an advantage in terms of XP or in terms of in gold in order to do that. So she's going to stay as long as you stay. So you set the wave out to shove towards her, and then you backed. I would instead like to see some pings for the jungler, or if you're in voice, obviously you can say, hey, come kill this guy in mid lane. And it's pretty easy for Sejuani to walk mid and pressure this. Of course, you do have teleport, so you can sort of pressure her out yourself. Annie misses the stun there. You're not going to be able to get this kill, so don't bother. You just wasted 300 mana. You don't have teleport. You didn't come back with a corrupting pot or anything like that. You have catalyst, which is okay. But you basically just burn 300 mana for nothing. I think bot lane was pushed out of lane or something. Yeah. Bot lane died to the Nunu gank, so they're going to be able to go ahead and pick up Dragon. This is basically the same thing that happened last game, right? Where they got an early kill bot and translated it into a Dragon. That's something that Nunu excels at. Varus goes and pops the plant to deny it, so there's nothing that you can do. Just as a by the way, a small mechanic that you may not know about in the jungle, you don't have to kite the camp into this brush to deny vision. You can also kite the camp back into this one, and it's pretty tight. Like the buff will just barely get inside of the brush. It'll get like right here, which will disguise it, and then you stand like right here, and that way the camp doesn't reset. But that's just another way, like, especially because Varus came in here and popped this plant. And I don't know if we necessarily know that he did that. But I think that you had some idea of it because the plant popped. So if you're afraid that somebody is in your jungle or in your jungle over here, you don't have to use this brush. You can use this one. This is also good for... I'm going to back up a little bit and pause so that we can watch that. This is also good for invading because your red buff can be kited into this. Well, let's say that you invade the enemy jungler. You can take their red buff and do the same thing, kite it into this brush. And this is just general knowledge. It's not game. Like, it doesn't matter this game at all, but, you know, just general knowledge. You can kite it into this thing, and you'll confuse a lot of lower elo players because they walk through here. They say, oh, I don't know where my red buff is. And then they walk into this brush. And then they just assume that you've taken it. Like, they'll follow up to here. Most, like, 95% of the time that I've watched this, they'll follow it up to here and be like, well, I guess my red's gone. And then they'll just go on about their pathing. They'll never actually check this brush. And lower elo players walk to red through this brush. They don't use this one. If they come this way, it's because they have a plant. And then they'll pop the plant, hop over the wall, see, oh, there's no red buff. And then do the same thing. Walk through the brush into this back brush and then just give up on it. So that type of... this type of kite is pretty useful. All right, in the jungle, we actually don't have a advantage. Oh, missed on the juke of the snowball there. I wonder if there's something going on with the hitboxes. Personally, I haven't played jungle against Nunu since his rework, so I don't know why this isn't... like why all of you are missing the snowball hitbox or getting hit by it, but like you think that it's working or something. Wall came out on Nunu. That's good. Wall does count as a displacement, so interrupt his ultimate. That flash was interesting. It's kind of just bad play by the enemy team. They should have known exactly what you were going to do there. Ezreal, see, getting hit by the snowball again. Like it seems like none of you know how big the snowball is, and I wonder if there's something wonky with the hitbox. We are not respecting the jungle here. Like, we see Nunu taking our control ward, so we're 3v2 right now, and as Ezreal, we're 0-1-0 against a 0-0-2 Varus, so we're not necessarily ahead in the lane. Like, you can say, oh, I have like a 15 CS advantage, but he's got 2 assists, so that balances it out. So we're basically exactly even. Okay, apparently we're not. I don't understand that. Oh, Klepto procs. Even still, we're not far enough ahead to 2v3 this. Especially because your support doesn't deal a lot of damage. And their support does. Okay. Having to blink out. That was the saddest Ezreal ult I've ever seen. I got to play this in slow motion for everybody here. Because, you know, I've said from the beginning, you know, I think that, you know, Pass is good. Like, I think that he has high potential and all this stuff. So... yeah. You know, I saw this live. Just had to... one more time. Yeah. Now that there could have translated into a double kill, and the pings were coming out as well. I don't know if you were pinging yourself on that one or what. I thought it was kind of funny. It looked like hella solo queue. Ezreal just whiffs his ultimate completely and then pings it. Another question mark ping coming out after Soraka queued the wave and took that cannon. Don't, like, as a Soraka, don't Q the wave like when it's pulling into the tower, unless it's like significantly later in the game and you don't have like damage in your Q. Say you've been maxing W or something. I don't think Sorakas typically do that. I think they typically max Q. But just in case you're like maxing W or something, and then it's later in the game and your Q doesn't have the base damage, then you can Q the wave. Until then, like you're gonna fuck your ADC. Like if you're playing with a competent ADC, they know how to prep the wave themselves. And it's Ezreal who has absolutely no issues last hitting under tower. Because he basically has 2 auto attack resets in his Q and his E. Okay. So there's that. Suddenly my plus and minus keys stopped working on this, and I'm a little bit angry about it. I need these keyboard controls, man. Oh, the shift ones don't work either. Thank you, Riot Games, for this beautiful replay tool. Conquer Darius. Not going to be able to pick up the kill, but chunks you out pretty significantly. You're getting too aggressive in top lane, but we talked about that already. Something that I noticed on Anivia is that you don't exactly know how to clear the wave. So let's go over this. Let's speed up here. Okay, so the wave pulls up. What you can do is stand behind the wave over here. You can stand behind the wave over here so that you have a linear shot on your Q. And you can Q through the entire minion wave. And then redetonate it like right between the cannon and where the caster minions pull up. So we'll stabilize it a little bit. Okay, so this one would be a little bit weird because of the RNG of the minions. But typically the casters would all be on a line, and then you can detonate it right between it, and the detonation radius will hit them both. So you can Q through the entire thing and basically get the casters into one-shot range just from that, and then your Q has already hit the first 3 and the cannon as well. And this is just mana efficiency. Like your ult drains 40 per second, costs 75 to cast. So in 1 second, you expend 115 mana. Whereas if you Q, it's only 90. And then from there, you can auto attack the casters down. And you can still drop like your ult like here or something if you want to, but it's not necessary. You know that Annie is gone. So see what Annie is doing. So we see Annie clearing out a ward. Missing that. You can't walk up on the Annie because her burst is just higher than yours. But she wastes her stun. So now, yep, okay. We missed that stun too. So we can plan that a little bit better. Whenever we drop the wall here, we know that she has to walk this way. So instead of trying to throw the Q like right here, you want to throw it like a little bit more forward. You want the Annie to have to back juke, ultimately. Like you don't want to throw it at where they are. You want to throw it at where they're going. And if the Annie back jukes towards the wall to avoid it, that's completely okay. Because at the end of the day, that type of a move is only used to delay her time getting to the minion wave so that she maybe misses a CS or 2 under the tower. Again, we just see that you guys are ineffectively warding against Nunu. You think that you're safe because you have this ward here. That's not how this game works, you know. It's a good stun to interrupt the Nunu ultimate. Now Sejuani's coming in for the match. No, the counter gank. But nothing's going to happen here. There's no reason for you to queue in on this Sejuani. As long as you show up, like as soon as you came into vision, the enemy team started backing off. And this was especially because Anivia was closer to her tower. Annie didn't quite have a stun yet. Oof. That's a sad day, boys. So Annie whiffs the stun there. If she hits that, that's probably a kill onto Anivia unless you have your passive, which it seems like you do. So at the very least, that can pop passive. But yeah, Sedge, as soon as you show up here and they start like walking away, you can just walk away. Because then the message it sends is like, oh, well, I dare you to tower dive my mid. But that's an Anivia, and that Anivia is passive, and maybe you know that, and maybe they don't. So you could bait them into a bad situation. Really wish my keyboard controls work so I didn't have to click this thing constantly. We're going to speed up a little bit. I know this is a long game. Dude, I got to exit this. Like, none of the buttons are working here. So we're at the 12:38 mark. We're just going to restart this replay. Because I need something going on here. Like, I'm okay with a couple of the buttons not working, but my backspace isn't working either. Speed up, speed down. None of the fucking keyboard commands are working. And I'm not going to deal with that. So some people might ask why I would drink root beer for breakfast. And I would tell those people that they have never truly lived. This is about the place, I think. Yep. Hey, my keyboard works again. So here's the Nunu. Gets caught by the snowball again. So Joanie comes in, hitting a nice W. Annie's coming down. Annie doesn't have ultimate. These are things that you can be asking each other in comms. You know, does Annie have ultimate? Whatever. Ezreal dies to the Varus root, and that's going to be an attempt at a second dragon over to the enemy team. They have 4, you have 2. It makes sense for them to go for this. They have a control ward. Yep. So they're able to get an Infernal and a Cloud. And we reset a little bit here. Against Soraka, you don't need to take so much damage holding the wave. Ezreal's not going to miss that CS under the turret. And if your argument is like plate gold or something, like nobody was around to collect it. So despite the Nunu camp, and this was something that I noticed live, despite the Nunu camp on bot lane and, you know, Ezreal's 0-2 right now, if you actually look at the gold, he's got 4,900, basically 5,000 to 4,200. So he's got an 800 gold lead by himself, and that's being camped. But that is Kleptomancy Ezreal. It's fucking broken. Okay. Not quite as clean as we would prefer. Obviously, still got the kill, but had to burn flash for it. Nunu's going to come and shove this out. Wait, what? What? Nunu's trolling. Finish pushing it. Because now it's not going to, like, aggro the tower. Now the minions, see how the minions start aggroing the other minions? Those minions would have been hitting tower, which would have probably taken out a couple hundred HP. All right, so Nunu's trolling. I don't know what that's all about. So notice how your vision affected how you played in bot lane this time. This brush was warded, and you had a River Shrine. So once Nunu started snowballing from here, you knew to just back off immediately, which kind of proves my point. Like, this ward isn't enough against a champion like Nunu, against a champion like Hecarim, against a champion like Udyr. This ward is not enough. You need something closer up here, and you need something in this brush. And then what you need is a ward behind red or in tri-brush or something. I would prefer like right around the blast plant at the very least. I mean, I would prefer behind red, but if you can't find the time to do it, then right around blast plant to make sure that they're not invading you through tri-brush. Nunu's pinging for help on that river fight. The thing is that Nunu doesn't actually know how to play League of Legends. There's no reason to be there. What are we fighting over right now? Like, what are we trying to get out of this? Let's back this up. Because one of the things that I've emphasized, and I've talked about it before, but we've never seen it in like a video format. And I said like one of the mistakes that low elos make is taking fights where fights don't need to be had. So we're in topside river. There is no topside jungle. There is no blue buff. We have no information on whether there's a red buff. We have no rifts herald. There's no scuttle crab. You go in, maybe you were going to drop like a ward or something in his jungle. Maybe you're going to counter jungle raptors or something. Wait, you have eye, so you weren't going to ward, but maybe you were just going to check on his raptors and try to counter jungle it. So you see him, he pings for a fight. Why do you handshake this? This is the situation right now. Sion picked up a couple things because he's low. We're playing against a Darius. We're playing against a Aftershock Nunu, so he's not going to die instantly. We're two tanks. We don't have a DPS in this fight. Anivia and Annie are both off in mid lane. Like, Anivia has priority. So if you're like referring to my last video and saying like, oh, well, I made sure that mid had priority before I took the fight. Okay. But then also think about damage output. Like, Darius out damages both of you and he's got Conqueror. Like, there's no reason to take this fight. What are we doing here? So what happens if both of them die? Like, do you walk all the way to top lane as two tanks and smack a turret with 2,000 health? Is that the play? Or, like, I don't know. I don't know what y'all are doing here. So, to reiterate, what I said before was make sure that you always know what you're doing or what you can accomplish. League of Legends is about time efficiency. So you have to consider, like, why am I here? What can I get out of this fight? If the answers to those questions are I don't know or nothing, then you leave. You just don't handshake the fight. And if you're saying like, well, I was trying to save Sion or something like that, Sion could have just ulted back top lane because Darius can't grab him out of his ultimate. So when Darius is here and Sion is here, Sion can just ult back top and then walk under his tower. And he's completely safe. And that's something that Nargis does a lot. He uses his ultimate very defensively, I've noticed. So that's not something that he's unfamiliar with. So dragon spawning in 20 seconds. Okay. Okay. So your combo order was wrong there. Take a look at this again. Slow motion. Wall. Immediately. Wall. Don't E. See, she's not going to walk into you because she can cast her spells from range. She's not a melee champion. And this goes back to what I was saying in the last video. Like, put it where they're going to be. Don't put it where they are. So you know that Annie, it probably wants to walk away from you. Just looking at her health, she's half health. And it seems like you have passive. Like, replay could be bugged, but it seems like you have passive. So you can walk into her and threaten, and she'll just still walk away from you. So you wall behind her, and then you drop the R. You know, if you put the wall here, then you drop the R here. So that she has to walk through it for the full duration, and then while she's slowed, you can get the stun. You eat her, and she wasn't even slowed. Like, you didn't get that bonus magic damage. It's because your combo order was wrong. So here's Nunu coming in, trying to make a play on the mid lane. He's got Aftershock, so you're not going to pick this kill up. This is an unnecessary use of mana. You know that Cinder Hulk Sejuani can clear that wave as well as Rift Herald. Okay. This time your ultimate goes forward. Feels good, man. Then we pick up a kill despite the Zillion ultimate. Now, Darius is here and he's going to walk into the fight. Anivia has no mana. Sejuani's recovering mana because she's now in the jungle, but she's pretty low. And Sion does not have teleport, and he doesn't have ultimate. So he's choosing not to join the fight here. He's just going to take this top tower. Darius ends up backing off. I don't know why Darius did that. Darius should have stayed, but we end up getting first turret out of it. And now you're going to look in their jungle for a blue buff. Looks like Ezreal ends up picking it up. Yeah. Little outplay there by the Ezreal. We see Annie. Missed the cannon, feels bad. Snoonoo's going to come in here and do a little counter jungling. Tibbers is dropped. Annie walks away. And another gank on Sion. At this point, like, Sion is relatively unkillable from the perspective of Nunu and Darius. Nunu's going to be able to counter jungle this blue buff. Darius is here. Nunu doesn't know how to steer the snowball. Again, like, it almost appears as if we're posturing for a fight. Like Anivia has rolled into side brush. Sejuani's lingering around. Sion's getting scuttle crab. And I have to ask myself, why are we here doing this thing? Like, Darius is significantly ahead of Sion. He's got Triforce completed. He's got 30 CS lead. Sejuani and Nunu are whatever, you know. They don't deal enough damage in fights, so they're not factoring into my calculations. And Anivia has low mana, only 350. So she can burn through that like in a second or one rotation of spells. So she's not ready to fight, so there's no reason to posture for one. At this point, like, Darius is a problem now. Because Sion can hold the lane, but Sion cannot contribute as much in team fights as Darius can at this particular moment in time. Okay, so we see that they're making a four-man play bottom. And Sejuani is around, so you can discourage the tower dives. We redrop the ward. We see Annie. So we know Nunu is around, Annie's around, and then Zillion, Varus are around. And they choose not to execute the dive. Wall was a little bit late, but that's okay. Yeah, and this is Darius now just beating Sion's ass in top lane. Okay. So Varus misses his ultimate. I don't think anything can happen out of this, though. Yeah. Varus just barely escapes that radius, so you're going to be able to pick up a second turret out of this, though. I don't know why Nunu's sticking around. Nunu should just recall. Zillion ends up getting a nice bomb on a Soraka. And now Dragon is spawning. Varus has just been pushed out of lane, but Nunu's low. So Nunu really can't do anything about this Dragon if you choose to take it. But Ezreal's already recalled, and he's going top lane. This is a solo queue Dragon, and this does not fly in fives. Because if one person shows up, you can assume that two other people are going to be showing up real soon. So all you need is literally one person to check the dragon that spawned. They have a Nunu, so you know that they're going to take the dragon. Like if they were playing a jungler like Talia or something who doesn't really contest dragons very well or something, then you can say, okay, well maybe they won't check it. This is just like a dragon, like we really can't contest. And they end up, you end up getting it, which is amazing against a Nunu. Teleport coming in. So the teleport was a little bit premature. Or not the teleport, sorry. The Annie ultimate was a little bit premature. So let's again look at the placement of this Anivia wall. Well, the wall and the ult together. Okay, so Annie should have waited for the teleport to complete and then stunned you both. Okay, so the wall comes out. Boom. So you're pushing, your mouse didn't move. You hit R here and then wall here. Your mouse didn't move. And you don't want to put those things in the same spot. Like if you're going to put wall to block people, then you put R on the other side. So like here and then here. If you put R to put someone in for a pick, then you put wall first and then R. So it's just like, I know that you've said that like Anivia isn't a champion you're super familiar with or whatever. It's not like a carry champion. Anivia can carry games because Anivia has two forms of terrain, her wall and her ultimate, just basically terrain. So she has a lot of control and utility that most champions don't even have one form of. So we have the bronze ARAM, as I like to call it, and there's nothing that you're going to get out of this. What's going to happen here? Why are we all 5 in mid? Or I mean, Nargis is heading bot and Sejuani's going back into the jungle, but like from their perspective, like why are we all in mid? Why do we have 4 people, 5 people here? I don't understand. I mean, what they want is a team fight. Because right now they're ahead. You know, they have the Darius. Varus has some CC. Annie, if she can catch someone with that Luden, she's going to hurt. They have Zillion bombs. And then Nunu as well to get in there and kind of frontline with the Darius. So they want a team fight. But we don't want that. So all we're going to do is stand the fuck back. We're going to clear the wave, preferably before it reaches the tower. And that's it. Annie can step a little bit more forward right now. She's playing a little bit too safe. That wave is cleared. Ezreal, if they continue to posture, like if you continue to see 3 people mid or something like that, what you can do to dissuade that continued ARAM is you can just ult down mid lane immediately. Like your ultimate's on a 66-second cooldown. So you can just ult. Just because, you know, Ezreal's often just ult just because. And so you would just ult right down mid lane, shave a little bit of HP off of this wave. That was if they were continuing the posture, though. Which obviously they did not. Darius has the invade on the blue buff, and then he's got ghost, so he's going to get on out. There's a little glitch there. He got stuck in the wall for a second, but then he got put out the other side. There's the Scion ultimate to get away. Okay. I think that the communication here wasn't very good or something between the team in this fight. So we see Annie. Low HP. Ultimate whiffs her. But Zillion's now low HP. Okay. Now Varus goes down. So why is Anivia walking backwards for a second? She clicked backwards. Now she's last hitting something. She's trying to last hit this. She should be continuing to walk forward. She doesn't have a wall, but still, she could throw a Q and try to detonate it off of his whenever he revives. And hitting skill shots like that takes like a lot of practice and like timing exercises and this and that. Like if you don't have a good form of music sense or rhythm, I think that helps a lot. Personally, I'm musically inclined myself, so I usually can hit people out of their Zanyas, out of whatever revives and guardian angels, that type of stuff. Typically, I'm very good at that because I'm a music guy. If you're not a music person yourself, or you don't have a very good sense of like a mental clock, if you can't count it down, then I don't know. Maybe I mean, at least try it at the very least, right? Now we're gaining some vision control on Baron. That blue buff or blue trinket is a little bit awkward. So we're doing some brush camping here, and the enemy team decides not to handshake it. Again, the wall on the ultimate, not in the best spots. Soraka ult coming out at the last second. So that was the engage. You had Annie. And here's a second engage here by the Nunu. This is just a bad engage. Like if Nunu has to snowball into the front line, like the team fight's not going anywhere. Soraka, that was one of those instances where you could have stepped into the redemption. I mentioned that a couple times. So you drop it, you flash out, and then you drop it here. But then you don't walk into it. Like you heal someone. And then it procs up. Like you could be walking into this. Like you're Soraka, you need HP. Ezreal decides to leave. I don't agree with the decision to leave, by the way. He has teleport, but it's not on it's not off cooldown. I think that Ezreal has to stay as long as the other team stays. Like this is the bronze ARAM. And certain champions are able to break the ARAM, but Ezreal is not. So Ezreal has to stay with the team. It's also that Ezreal has the most amount of gold right now, 11,000. Like coming up on 12,000 gold. Nobody here is even close. Darius at 10,500. So you have over 1,000 gold on Darius, who has 222 CS and 3 kills. Like Darius is mega fed, and you still have more gold than him. So you cannot leave the team in that circumstance. Then here, the rotations were just a little bit better. Sion went down to bot lane. Ezreal grouped back with the team, and they had kind of recalled and spread out over the map. So they had really good early game consciousness of Dragon. You know, Nunu was doing the right things. He was getting ganks on bot, ganks on mid, and then pressuring Dragon. Like he was doing the right stuff, and then his team just started fucking him. I'm not sure why. The heal from the Archangels, or the Seraphs rather. The Seraphs healed you there. Or not healed you, but kept you alive. I think you would have died without that shield. And now, we have a kill on Tavares. We have a kill on Annie. We push out mid lane and we say, we're going to do Baron. I'm completely okay with this. Ezreal hit the fucking Baron. Ezreal hit the fucking Baron. Ezreal auto-attack the Baron. And now Anivia leaves. So now you have no damage hitting the Baron. It's just so disgusting. This is what I was saying. Like the first Baron, like you throw it away by not taking it. Now Ezreal gets over the wall and starts hitting the Baron. But at this point, they've already revived. And now there's spam pings coming out. Ezreal ult whiffs. Soraka ult. Soraka keeping people alive. That's disgusting. Somebody should have died there. And now the enemy team says, well, those guys are kind of low. Maybe we can get some Baron control. This is the bronze Baron. Like, Darius can't stop the Baron from happening. Just in case, like, that's like your thought process while I was zoning out the most fed member of their team. Yeah, but Darius can't walk in 1v5. And 2 of them were dead. Like, both of their primary damage dealers were dead. Darius splitting bots. Sion does not have teleport. Darius doesn't have teleport. So you guys decide, oh, fuck it. We'll go for Baron again. Darius isn't there. The thing that you're not taking into consideration is that Darius has a dead man's plate. And nobody is dead on their team. So you're just choosing arbitrarily to do this Baron. You're not saying, like, oh, we have superior vision control, so we're just going to go for it. You're saying, oh, God, that Annie flash, too. Annie flashed the Anivia wall right into, like, a Soraka silence that was already on the ground. Like, it was already there, but she just flashed onto it. And, like, it would have been a sick ult if the silence wasn't already on the ground, but it was. So that Annie hard trolled. And Darius gets interrupted during his ultimate animation. Feels fucking bad. That's a good Anivia ult. Because that there dissuades the carry from coming in, Varus. So he wants to stand behind that ult. And also... It dissuades the front line from leaving because they have to walk through it. So that's pretty good. So now Annie is dead. Nunu is dead. Your Soraka's pretty low, though. Sion's trying to zone out some stuff or something. You don't have an Ezreal. Now Ezreal shows up. Ezreal should have been with the team from the beginning. You give up that mid turret for Baron. No questions asked. Looked like a lucky Q there from Anivia. It didn't look like that should have hit. You're greeting super hard for that kill when you don't need to. You have Baron buff. You should just be leaving. Also, they have 4 wards in Baron Pit right now. Jesus Christ. Fishing for Annie. Doesn't come up with it. And now they have 3 members on Dragon. So, again, that, like, team play that Nunu exhibited earlier, his team isn't reciprocating right now. Like, why is Annie clearing Raptors while they're doing Dragon? Why didn't she go to Dragon with them? It's just bizarre to me. Also, what's pretty incredible is that this is a 6 Dragon game before Elder, and that's actually really, really rare. I think that I've only ever seen it with Nunu games, honestly. And this is only the second game I've ever seen 6 Dragons before Elder, which means the Elder Dragon is hella strong. Okay, Annie gets caught by the silence again. That was a good wall by Anivia, by the way. That's exactly what I mean. Sometimes you can wall people in to prevent their escape. It doesn't just have to be a defensive utility. And now we're sieging. Okay, and a really important macro play comes up here soon that we don't take advantage of. So we'll just watch what's happening. Okay, let me slow this down for a second. Sion, you have teleport. And if you're looking at the minimap, there's a pretty big wave down here. And you can say, well, I'm already hitting the turret, and that's true. But this turret's dead. 1 more auto. Okay. Teleport immediately. Or teleport to this minion to save it. Whatever. But then you have a melee, a cannon, 4 casters. You're a tank. Because we get mid tower and mid inhib, And then the 4 of us rotate to top, which is the correct macro play. It is. You rotate end of the lane that's pushing, but then Sion... Wait, Sion doesn't have teleport. Oh, when I was watching this live, it showed that you would teleport. That's why I brought this up. Okay, so you don't have teleport. Okay. Never mind then. Yeah. When I watched this game live, it showed you having teleport, and I was... Yeah. Okay, ignore that. So we're just going to sort of death ball into the enemy team. Able to pick up something there. Now you're just going to look for the last outer turret. This is the correct macro play. Whenever you have Baron, you try to get all the outers because you can. It's just a lot of global gold. So now we see the global gold is up over 7,000 at this point. So everybody's going to back off, spend their gold. This is a good call because now that you've spent basically all of your gold, like Sion's sitting on almost 2K. Well, he's at the base right now, so he's going to be buying 1,400 on Sejuani, but nothing to spend it on. Sejuani doesn't need it anyway. She's got the stone plate. And then your carries, Anivia and Ezreal, have spent all of their gold. So now you are at maximum efficiency above the enemy team. So this is good. And we're just, I'm pretty sure that from here you kind of just push to win. I could be wrong though. Like, because you're so ahead in gold at this point. So you set up a little split here with the Sion, with Demolish, and you're able to get that turret. That's nice. You know what? I think this replay thing is bugged because this is the same teleport that the cooldown hasn't moved. So I think the replay is bugged. I think that you did have teleport when you took this. And I think that this is bugged right now. So I'm pretty sure that once you took this tower, from a couple minutes ago, what I was saying, once you took this tower, I think you could have teleported bot and gotten that tower. And then what would have happened was you would have had 4 top with the minion wave that you escorted here, and the 4 of them would have been able to take this because it had Baron buff still. And then you would have taken this tower because you could have power minions with Baron buff, and then the next wave would have pulled up after you took that tower because most of the minions would have died in that tower, but then the next minion wave would have rolled up, and then you would have been able to take this tower, and you still would have had Baron buff, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that that's the correct macro play, and I'm pretty sure that this thing is bugged. So don't ignore what I said. I'm right, motherfucker. And this is the last team fight. Let me just see if there's anything that I can comment on in the team fight specifically, because I haven't talked about how to team fight. I've kind of just been letting you guys do your thing. So Sejuani flashing out. Darius pull. So 3 of them are bound by Varus right now, and that sucks because this lethal tempo just proc too. Good Soraka heal. Redemption is a little bit off, which you know already. Darius is able to dunk the Anivia, but she has passive. Darius is just doing so much work with that Conqueror right now. Varus is taking a little bit of damage. He needs to step back in, though, and do this. Wait, he auto-attacks the cannon. The fuck? Okay, so you're going to ult for the Zillion. Gonna miss. That's okay. So then you back off for a moment. Regain some cooldowns or something. And to allow the supers to press in. All right, so now you have a free ticket into their base. And Baron is spawning, and Elder has just spawned. So if you want, you don't have to because you're so far ahead in gold, and Annie's dead right now. But if you want, you can just back off. You can go take Elder, you can go take Baron, and then you can just walk down mid and end the game. That's really up to you. That would be the safe play, because if you have Elder and you have 3 dragons already, one of them is Infernal. So Elder amplifies the effects of dragons that you already own, just in case you didn't know. And you would 100% be able to walk out, take a team fight at Elder because you just took the inhibitors. So they're gonna be encouraged to stay in their base and clear the super minions. So you can walk down and just take Elder, and then from Elder that gives you bonus damage for Baron. So then you can walk down or walk on over, take Baron, then recall, spend your gold, and then come back, finish an item or two, and then just walk down mid, and that would be the safer play. Oh, this is what happens. I thought for some reason that you guys just pushed to end right there at the end. I guess I'm wrong. I guess there's like a time thingy here. I haven't been paying attention to it. Yep. So we take Elder. We take Baron. So you're really lucky that you got that Baron. And the reason that you're lucky is that Ezreal's not fucking hitting the Baron. Just hit the fucking Baron. You're not going to be able to kill Nunu. Damn, that smite was close, too. Because I don't think we had smite. 34 seconds? Wait, you do have smite, so both of you missed smite. Also, we don't need to do this thing with Darius over here. We don't need to handshake this. As an Ivia, we walk over here, we wall right there, and then we laugh at Darius. Because he has to flash if he wants to get over that wall. Okay. Wow. I think that was Cinder Hulk that killed it. Jesus. I mean, not that they could have really like made a recovery if they got Baron, but it would have extended the game time. And now we're able to run away. This was the epic Soraka chase. Yep. And here's this. Still running. Still running. See, you have Elder with Double Cloud, so you're able to run pretty fast. We got fucking Sonic over here. He gets caught by the stun for some reason. And that allows you to get away. Okay, so you're going to go back, spend your final amounts of gold, and basically just run it down mid. Ezreal picks up the red buff first. And here's the last team fight. At this point, you're just too much ahead. You're 9,000 gold ahead. Not going to be able to do anything, the enemy team. And that is GG.